If you win, what is the major reason why you win? If you lose, what do you perceive as the major reason why you've lost? I mean, I'm sure you've been thinking this over some.
Well, I'll tell you the things we've done that have never been done before.
Okay.
We've probably raised and spent more money than any auditor race has before. And we actually were on TV. I saved every penny and put it into TV. And we were able to reach more people around the state. And I've been told over and over and over, people value our last ad especially because it was so simple. The auditor's office is about numbers and government reports. And those reports are sometimes used to make very important decisions about our schools and communities, and we want the numbers to add up. Because it's not a real glamorous job.
Right.
Okay. But in the past, a lot of people don't even know that office exists. And when they get to the ballot box, they don't even know that it's going to be on the ticket. So,
right.
So for me, I think we've been able to reach out to more people and educate more people than ever before. Our website we had 10,000 hits in the last 3 days. We have a very comprehensive website. So again, interest has been fairly high. So we've communicated effectively, different than it's ever been. I've been campaigning for a year and a half. And I've also spent a lot of time in Greater Minnesota, and I went and talked to newspapers and editors, publishers, and within the community and local government folks, talking to them about what I think no taxes really meant. Because I've been in the legislature and I've been in local government too, and they understand what's happened. They understand intimately what's happened because Greater Minnesota experienced greater increase in property taxes than the whole metro area.
Exactly.
And they're having to make some unsavory decisions, and it's very serious. And I was in an aging population. It's one community where it's an aging population. They have an average of death a day. They don't know how to fill the holes in their budget after their aid cuts. So what they've done is they've implemented a fee to escort people from the cemetery from the funeral home to the cemetery.
So, given all those things that you've done in such a big Democratic year, it looks like, why is this race so close?
I think it's all timing. I think that's the way politics is. You can sometimes be a brilliant candidate and the timing just isn't right. But I think right now the timing is right. I think I've been a strong candidate. I think I've been able to communicate a good message. And again, it's one of those that people don't always pay attention to, but I've done my best. So I know that I've done everything I can. I believe I've run a high-quality campaign with a lot of integrity. I've never gone personal on the current auditor, which I'm proud of again. I've got a lot to offer to the Greens. I'm greener than the green. I walk the walk. I don't just talk about it. I live it, and I know it. And I think we need people in government that know this stuff, that can say, I have wind generator in my backyard. It works.
Right.
We've implemented major conservation within our home, and it works. And looking at the financial piece for local government, when local governments are doing things well around conservation or new technologies or whatever else, we can do financial analysis and do best practices for other communities because we have to.
Did you do that green mailing statewide? I mean, I got one. I live in Minneapolis. It seems like an urban mailing.
We had certain areas that we targeted with that piece. We got it onto all the college campuses, especially campuses that vote green. We got it into certain communities that vote very green. And I got it out wherever I could. And people really liked the piece. And a few people said, well, what does that have to do with the auditor's office? And again, it's about we need people in government that don't just talk about it, that actually understand. Because when I was in the legislature and environment policy, people would say, oh, those wind generators don't work. And I could raise my hand and say, with all due respect, I've had one in my backyard for 12 years and it works.
Right. One of the things I've heard people say when they were worried about whether or not to vote for you or the Green or the Independent is your vote in the legislature against gay marriage. What's your take on that? If you had to do it all over again?
Yeah, it would be a different vote because people felt very hurt by my vote, and I never meant to hurt anybody. And I actually publicly announced before my election that year in 2004 that I regretted it publicly.
Okay.
And it may have cost me the election, but I regretted it. And the Green has actually done some very dirty campaigning and continued to say that I did all kinds of things I never did. And so that's disappointing to me because I worked with a lot of Green Party chairs when I was in the legislature and helped them with legislation and had them on my committees because I believe we have so much in common. So his behavior was really disappointing, and he did it up until the last day.
And so that would be, if you lose close, that'll be a source where you'll be.
Could be. Well, they did some unfair campaigning, and hopefully it's not going to cost us. So, yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Thanks very much.
Well, thank you so much.